Hello and welcome to Outlook Sports Championship Weekend Preview. We got 5 great games on the slate, playoff implications, potentially a ton of people very, very mad with the potential results that could leave teams out that have been firmly in for the majority of the year. Let's get right into it, waste no time. First game of the day, we're going to be talking about Penn State, Oregon. Oregon's beat the brakes off just about everyone this year, except for Wisconsin at Wisconsin. That game was a little ugly. Wisconsin's not a great team this year. All right, let's just call it what it is. But that was after they just came off like killing like 8 teams in a row. So kind of hard to, hate on them when they've won almost every game by like 25 points. You know what I mean? So can't give them, too much slack. They had kind of a close game versus Idaho at the beginning of the year. But since then, like, we haven't really talked about Oregon because they haven't given us a reason to. You know what I mean? They just win pretty handily against the bad teams every week. They had a very amazing game against Ohio State that they won. So, I mean, they have a great win, haven't lost. They've beat the shit out of almost all the bad teams that they've played, except for Wisconsin. I get it. So, I mean, obviously they're the number one team, pretty clear, pretty obvious. They're going to be a very tough out. But this game in particular, the matchup I'm looking at is Abdul Carter versus the offensive coordinator, I guess, for Oregon. It's going to be very interesting. They love to snap the ball and throw the ball very, very fast. I think it's like 2.6 average time per throw. I think it might be even less than that. They get the ball out quick. A ton of the RPO stuff you've heard a ton about in the last few years. That is Oregon. They're quick, they're fast, tempo, very fun offense to watch. Penn State, great at rushing the passer. Can they get this Oregon offense out of rhythm early? Can they get a lead? Can they play with a lead? Because this pass rush is so good when they have a lead and they get the other offense to be predictable. That's the path. For me, Penn State has to score early, keep the lead, protect the lead. I think Drew Aller needs to have a great game. He's been off and on, He's had his games where it's like, this is the guy that we all thought he could be. It's not really his games. It's more he has like his moments. He doesn't have these like horrible games, but he more just has these moments where you're like, can we get this every play, please? And he can be amazing. I'm still very high on him. But I don't think Penn State has enough on the outside. I think they've done a better job running the football. They don't have enough on the outside, I don't think, to win this game. I don't think they're going to get out to the early lead I was talking about. I think Oregon's going to play ahead, play fast. I don't even think the 3.5 is enough, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be more like 5.5, 6. I know that might sound crazy. I really don't think it is. I got Oregon minus. I think it's 3.5. I'll take the hook all the way there. That doesn't bother me. UGA Texas is the next. I don't know if these are like in order, by the way. These are probably not in order at all. I'm actually almost positive that UNLV is the first game out of all of these. Oops, I might just have to edit them, whatever. Anyway, UGA Texas, that's more fun. Let's talk about that. The rematch, go Dogs. We killed them last time in Texas. But let's call a spade a spade. Our defense has looked like shit. Carson Beck has not. When he was on the ropes, everyone talking about how horrible he is, how much he sucks, how much he turns the ball over. He's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. How does he respond? In the last 3 games, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's pretty good football. He played UMass in there, I understand. He also played Tennessee, who I'm hearing a lot of, hey, that's a dark horse. We beat him handily 2 weeks ago. Let's not forget that. Carson Beck's playing great football right now. If he's playing as good as he can, I mean, he's just as good as any quarterback in the country when he's on. That's not as crazy as it sounds. I know it sounds crazy, trust me, and I know I sound super biased. There's really not that many crazy good quarterbacks in the college football playoff. Think Cam Ward, think Shedeur Sanders, they're out. They're gone. They're not in this thing. I mean, like, who's the best quarterback in here? Who's the best quarterback in the playoff? Quinn? Is it Quinn? Is it Dylan Gabriel? Is it Will Howard? I think Carson Beck can go toe-to-toe with absolutely any of them on any given day. Granted, take it with a grain of salt, Carson Beck can play damn good football when he's on. He's had his games where he's not on. I understand everyone hates him. Whatever. This Texas defense has looked so for real, man. This looks so for real. They've had a very easy schedule. Even I don't really know how good Texas A&M is. They're so hard. Because their like big win was LSU, right? When they like killed them at home. Everyone was like, Marcel Reed is the truth. We found our new quarterback, which I still think they did. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, because that was their big win. They lost to Auburn. They didn't do shit against Texas, who Texas themselves have looked, had a close game against Arkansas. Anyway, they've had a questionable schedule. Their defense looks really, 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 really good. I think maybe the best in the country. Actually, no, I think the best in the country for sure. They've looked really good on the ground. Quinn looks a lot better than he does the first time we played. When we first played, he was coming off injury. You know, there's a lot of question marks here and there, blah, blah, blah. He's looked a lot more decisive recently. They're going to have tons of Arch Manning packages. This defense has looked rough the last few weeks. All the reason why everyone's picking Texas. Georgia's going to win this game. They're going to win this game outright. Fuck the 2.5. I don't need them. Give me the money line. Not biased at all. Georgia's winning this game. Arizona State versus Iowa State. Tragic loss. Jordan Tyson. I feel for you, Arizona State. Their next highest receiver has like 18 or 19 targets. I don't have the stats in front of me. I think that's right. That's insane. It's going to look very different. There's going to be the Cam Skattebo show, which it normally is anyway. It's just the Cam Skattebo and Jordan Tyson and Sam Levitt, right? We're really going to see how good Sam Levitt is if they don't just hand it to Cam Skattebo 800 times, which they might. But, you can't do it the whole game. You just can't. So we're going to see Iowa State. I think they're the only team in the country with 2,000-yard receivers. Am I wrong there? I think that's right. Shout out to Jaden Higgins. Shout out to Jalen Noel. They've been balling. Shout out to Rocco Beck, who I fucking love watching. He's so fun to watch. The kid just always makes a play on third down, on fourth down. Like, he's always got an ace up his sleeve. He's so fun to watch. He's fucking gritty. That's the word for Rocco Beck. That kid is gritty. Arizona State, Iowa State. Do other people know that Iowa State's playing in this game? I haven't heard Iowa State come out of anyone's mouth in this whole year, it feels like. All I've heard is Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, Cam Skattebo. Well, rightfully so. They've been playing great. That's an amazing story. They were picked to finish last in the Big 12. They're now in the championship game, but they still got to play Iowa State without their best receiver, without their only receiver, mind you. I think Arizona State gets their dreams crushed after this great season, after this Cinderella-like run. I think they get their dreams crushed. I think they lose to Iowa State. I think they're going to win outright. I'm pretty sure they're 2.5-point dogs. I think they win this game. I'm sorry, Arizona State. I'm sorry. I love Kenny. What happened in that other game was absolutely hilarious when he's just screaming at the ref because there's like 2 seconds on the clock. He's just screaming at the ref for like 2 minutes straight. I don't know why. There was obviously time. Anyway, great guy. He's amazing. I love Kenny Dillingham. Give me Iowa State, though. Sorry. I think that's what happens. Boise versus UNLV. Is it going to be Ashton Jeanty gets 800 carries like he has the last 12 games? Probably. A name everyone needs to look out for this game, Cameron Camper. By far their best receiver. I think him and Maddox Manson need to get something cooking. Because Ashton Jeanty... but I don't even know if they do need to get something cooking. Ashton Jeanty wins these games alone. Like... he breaks like 8 tackles a run. It feels like this guy just, I don't know. I was going to pick UNLV. No, I wasn't. It's going to be Boise State. Look for Cameron Camper. He's going to make a few big plays. Even if he doesn't, they'll probably still win. Malik Williams, though, that's a damn good football player. He's quick. He's fun to watch. That dude makes plays. If we're talking about off script here, this dude, very fun. Love this guy. Malik Williams. Give me Boise State, whatever the points are. I'm trying to talk myself into UNLV because that's another one where it's like no one said the name UNLV this whole year. It's just Ashton Jeanty. So are we going to get it? I don't know. Yeah, it's Boise State -4. They'll cover. They'll probably cover. I don't know. I know they've played close games against like Wyoming and these like shit teams. But I mean, I can't be too hypocritical, you know. I'm a Georgia fan. So next, actually, sorry, 1 second. I need to go let my dog in. I can hear him whining. Give me a sec. All right, we're back. We got the dog. Come here. Here he is. All right. He's gone. All right, Clemson, SMU. This is where the drama is this weekend. Let's just be real. This is where the drama is. If SMU loses, they're out. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be the one to rip the Band-Aid off all you ACC lovers. Your conference isn't good this year. Half the teams, it feels like, or actually, I don't even think it feels like. I think half the teams are below 500. You can fact check me. It's just about. I think in the SEC, there's like 3 for reference. There's like 3 teams below 500. I can think Kentucky, Mississippi State. There's probably a third one. Whatever. Your conference isn't good. I mean, this year, and you've played a very easy ACC schedule, which I think is the only type of ACC schedule, to be honest with you. But if you lose, you're going to be in an argument with resumes against Alabama. And you're going to lose that argument. Unfortunately, you would be 0-2 against the top 25, losing to the 2 best teams you played all year. And the argument with this conference championship garbage, honestly, with certain conferences who talk about it, the ACC, like all conferences are not the same here. When your conference is only getting 1 team in, you can absolutely be punished for losing a championship game. It's the same as the Big 12 for all I'm concerned. I mean, the Big 12 is a better conference this year than the ACC. So they're only getting 1 team in. The ACC should only get 1 team in. SMU, if you lose, you have no good wins. And I'm sorry. I know right now you're 11-1. Right now you'd be in. The season doesn't end like that. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Like, you don't have a good win. You're going to be in an argument with your not good resume against Alabama, who has bad losses. Alabama has bad losses, but they also have very good wins. They have much better wins. They're 3-1 against the top 25. So you're 0-1. You would be 0-2 if you lost this. It's just what's going to happen. It's just my prediction. I think if they lose on like a last-second field goal, they might stay in. And that's the only way in my eyes. If they lose by 5, 6, 10, 20, like they're out, I think. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's like my opinion. That's my prediction. And kind of my opinion when I'm like talking about it out loud. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and this is coming from the guy who I made a 10-minute long video that I was about to release. It was, I was completely done with it. I was about to release it about why Ole Miss should be in over Alabama. And the more I looked at it, I'm like, Kentucky's the worst loss ever. Kentucky has 1 win against Power 4 schools this year, and it's at Ole Miss. So, I mean, I tried to make this big argument for Ole Miss. They beat South Carolina by more at South Carolina. They killed Georgia. I'm a Georgia fan. This is unbiased. They killed us for 4 quarters. Alabama almost had the biggest choke in program history against Georgia. But I know Alabama has bad losses too. They got dominated for 4 quarters, against Oklahoma. That's not a good loss. I get it. I do. And I've been an Alabama hater for a very long time. But if you're not looking for reasons to disagree and you're just trying to take it at face value, like the strength of schedule for Alabama is the best out of Miami and Ole Miss. You can't put South Carolina, like they never had a chance. You lost to the wrong teams. When you have the same record, you're not getting hit over 2 teams that you lost to. It's just not happening. I'm sorry. It sucks. You lost to the wrong teams. If you didn't lose to those 2, if you lost to 2 other teams, you'd probably be in, but you didn't. So that sucks. SMU is going to get their hearts ripped out if they lose. They're not going to be in, and everyone's going to be super, super pissed off, and maybe rightfully so. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got for this. Now we're going to see how that would impact the playoff based on the predictions we've made. So I'm taking Clemson to win this game outright. I think they get it done. I think SMU also gets their hearts broken just like Arizona State. Now we're going to go and look and see how exactly that would impact the playoff and then make first round playoff predictions. All right, we got our matchups. We got our first round matchups if our predictions hold. It's a big if, but let's assume they do. So let's look at them. One that obviously jumps off, we've had this one for a few weeks now that we've kind of been eyeing up. Tennessee going to Ohio State. I think it's bullshit. Personally, I think Ohio State should definitely be below Tennessee, only by like one spot, but that's a huge one spot. Huge one spot when you're talking about the college football playoff home field advantage. So instead of in Tennessee and Knoxville, it's at the Horseshoe. So that could be a big thing. Kind of sucks, but that's a great game regardless. Clemson at Texas. You know, we just had Clemson ripping SMU's heart out, SMU getting left out. Going to Texas, I don't like their chances too much there. They've looked very inconsistent. They've lost to bad teams. I'd be taking Texas probably whatever the spread was. I think the spread would probably be a little too much now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know shit. Alabama at Penn State. It's like two teams that are just like, are they good at all? Do we know? In Penn State, I would assume Penn State would be favored there, right? Probably by like a field goal, if that. Indiana at Notre Dame. Banger. You can finally get to see, we don't know how good Indiana is. We don't know how good Notre Dame is. Put them head to head. I'm here for it. It'd be awesome. I would love that game. Tennessee at Ohio State. We just already talked about that. So those are our first round matchups. You would obviously have Oregon, UGA, Boise, Iowa State. And then you would have Georgia playing the winner of Indiana, Notre Dame. You would have Oregon playing the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State, which that's a whole issue in itself, which is a bad issue. All right. And then you would have the winner of Alabama, Penn State versus Boise. Clemson, Texas winner versus Iowa State. You can tell this shit is flawed. You have Iowa State and Boise. Like, it's kind of a joke when we're saying it out loud. It kind of is a joke, unfortunately, but it's where we're at. I think it's going to get changed next year, hopefully. Just rank the seeds 1 through 4. I know you want to make the conference championships mean something, and they will. Like, they will, because it's still important for the seeding to win your conference championship, but it should just be straight 1 through 4. This is horrible. So then, based on our predictions, we would have Clemson versus we'd have Texas versus Iowa State. I don't even know who I'd pick. Alabama, Penn State to play Boise. I would take Alabama, to be honest. I would take Texas versus Iowa State, Alabama versus Boise State. In the cold, though, Alabama probably lose. No. All right, whatever. All right, I'd take Alabama over Penn State, Texas versus Iowa State, Alabama versus Boise State, Notre Dame, Indiana. I mean, get your popcorn ready. And then obviously the winner of Indiana, Notre Dame would play Georgia. So let's just do one more quick recap as we're kind of trying to make some predictions for our next round matchups. I know, very early. I would have Texas to play Iowa State, Alabama to play Boise, Notre Dame to play UGA, and then I don't think Nico's ready to go into the Horseshoe and beat Ohio State just yet. I think that's going to be a great game, though. Then we have Iowa State versus Oregon. Why did I say Iowa State? Ohio State versus Oregon. That's looking like a Final Four of Texas, Bama, UGA, and Oregon. I don't see Ohio State getting over the hump after what happened to Michigan. I don't see it. It could happen. I'd be shocked if they won a natty or even beat like a top 4 team after what happened. And it's not just because I don't think they're good enough. It's because they're dead. They're dead inside, especially all the seniors. They're cooked, shocked mentally. All right. So just a little potential Final Four preview. this format kind of sucks with who gets buys. It is what it is. I'm very happy. It's a lot better than just 4 teams. So we get way more football, way more playoff football. This is way better. Subscribe, follow, turn on notifications. We're going to update you on college football, NFL, NHL, MLB, UFC, boxing, everything right here. Make sure you're subscribed with the notifications on. Peace out.